So today, we're diving into a tool that could seriously change your entire coding workflow. Just imagine this, turning that long, frustrating wait for code feedback into an instant, totally private chat with an AI that lives right on your own machine. Let's get into how it works. We've all been there, right? As a developer, you push your code and then you just wait and wait, all for a review that points out a simple typo or a little logic bug you could have fixed in 2 seconds. It's this universal frustration that just kills our focus and grinds everything to a halt. And this is the core problem we're talking about today, that massive lag in the old school code review cycle. You write, you push, and then you're just stuck in limbo. Maybe you're waiting for a CI pipeline. Maybe you're waiting for a teammate to grab a coffee and find a free moment. Hours can go by, and by the time you actually get that feedback, you've moved on to 5 other things. Look, this broken feedback loop isn't just some minor annoyance. It's a huge productivity killer. It forces you to constantly switch contexts, which just drains your mental battery and pulls you right out of that deep work zone. Honestly, it can be a real creativity killer. But what if we could actually fix this? What if you had an assistant that reviewed your code as you were writing it? Something that happens right on your machine, instantly and, most importantly, privately. Well, that's the whole idea behind the tool we're going to break down today. So, let's meet Code Scanner. Its official description says it's an AI-driven code scanner for identifying issues in uncommitted changes. And that last part is everything, uncommitted changes. This tool doesn't wait for you to push your code. It works right alongside you in real time. And it's built on 3 really powerful pillars. First, it's local and private. This means your code never, ever leaves your computer, not for a second. Second, as we said, it analyzes your code before you even type git commit. And to top it all off, it's completely free and open source. Okay, so how does it actually pull this off? The process is surprisingly elegant. Let's pop the hood and see how the magic actually happens. So it all starts by plugging directly into your local workflow. CodeScanner just hums along in the background, keeping an eye on your project's Git repository. The second you hit save on a file, it knows something's new. But here's the really clever part. It's smart about what it actually looks at. It's not going to waste your CPU cycles trying to analyze a JPEG or a zip file. It has a built-in list of file types to ignore, so it intelligently skips all the stuff that isn't source code. And this table gives you a quick glimpse of just how comprehensive that filtering is. You've got images, archives, compiled code, documents. It knows to ignore all of it and focus only on the text-based files that actually need a review. Okay, so once it has the code it needs to check, it hits another common problem. The AI brains doing the analysis, the large language models, or LLMs, they have context limits. You can't just throw a whole project at them. So CodeScanner cleverly groups your changes into small, manageable batches that the LLM can easily handle. And then, for the final step, it sends these little batches to an LLM running right on your own machine. This right here is the absolute cornerstone of its privacy promise. By using awesome local servers like Ollama or LM Studio, your secret sauce, your proprietary code is never, ever sent to some third-party cloud service. It stays with you. And this just shows you how ridiculously simple it is to get going. Whether you're a fan of Ollama or you're running your models with LM Studio, it's literally just changing 1 or 2 lines in a simple config file to point the scanner to the right local server. That's it. So, you're probably thinking, all right, this sounds great, but is it a huge pain to set up? Nope. Getting this tool up and running is just as simple as its whole design. No complex installers, just 3 quick commands and you're good to go. First, you just navigate into whatever project directory you're working on. Second, you copy over a single configuration file. And third, you just run the scanner and point it to that config. That's all. It'll start watching your files right away and keep running until you tell it to stop. So let's tie this all together. What does this really mean for your day-to-day work? Well, it's about fundamentally fixing that feedback loop, shrinking it from hours down to literal seconds, and letting you stay in that creative zone. So let's just recap the big wins here. You catch bugs the moment you write them, not hours later. Your intellectual property stays completely private, right on your machine. You can work entirely offline, on a plane, on a train, wherever. And of course, it's completely free. It literally solves every single one of the pain points of that old, slow review process. All right, so now you know what it is, how it works, and why it's so powerful. The only thing left to do is to try it out for yourself. You can find the entire project over on GitHub at this URL. So head over there, grab the code, and if you think it's cool, give the repository a star. Seriously, the best way to see the power of this thing is to fire it up in your next project and just feel what it's like to have an AI copilot reviewing your work in real time. And that really leaves us with one final thought. If you could just completely eliminate all those hours you spend waiting for feedback and fixing silly mistakes, what bigger, more complex, and way more interesting problems could you solve with all that time back?